I was open to like, yes, show me the trauma, show me things, and then suddenly drone appears out of nowhere.
Yeah, you want to talk about trauma, a drone chasing a Muslim. How much more terrifying can it get?
It's a bit far.
What? They're the ones that made
How
the situation
could you
happen.
say something so controversial yet so true?
Thank you, Shad. Appreciate the meme. But why would Disney do this? Disney, that's the situation you presented. A drone
is chasing a Muslim.
Yeah, and there's a... Oh, come on.
All I'm waiting is for Barack Obama to appear and go, Mister. Welcome back to The Watch. And what did we just watch? Ms. Marvel.
That's what we watched?
Episode 2. To my knowledge, I expect that you did.
We watched Obi-Wan.
No,
we're kidding. We watched Muslim Obi-Wan.
We'll be getting into it. Before we do, we just want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed and supported us on Patreon and Subscribestar. It means the world. We're trying to find a way to be able to be self-sustainable, not as reliant on ad revenue. At the moment, Night's Watch is not self-sustainable from ad revenue, and we're relying on external sources like my other channel, Shadiversity. And it would be great if we could make this self-sustaining. If you are enjoying the content, any support would be greatly appreciated. If every one of our active subscribers just donated between $1 to $5 a month, we would be self-sustaining and then would have opportunity to expand, raise production values and everything. Thank you to everyone who is supporting us. And if you are considering or willing to, once again, really appreciate it. Okay. Miss Marvel episode 2.
She's called Miss Marvel because she's not married.
Yes.
Ms. Marvel.
Which is a problem in the...
All right. I have thoughts, but I like to hold my thoughts back until last because I'm a rambler and I can end up talking too much. So I will give the floor to you two. What are your thoughts?
I mean, look, it's not awful, and that's why I don't hate it. That's why it's endearing. It's like if you got a bunch of kids who, and all of them are just awful, and you hate all of them so much. And then there's this kid who's like, just leaving everyone alone and just, you know, you're gonna be like, okay, you're on my football team.
I get what you're saying. I feel like I'm trying to put aside, I think that is skewing my perception. Everything is so bad lately that something that isn't awful, I might be giving it way too much credit. And I'm trying to, all right, what would be my objective view of this if this was made, I don't know, in the 90s or something with all other great shows around? And honestly, that does actually cause me to be a bit more critical. But before I continue on that, I get what you're saying. Claudia, what are your thoughts? Because this show it's made for girls, basically.
What? Why didn't anybody tell me that?
I know.
I like it. It's a little slow in some places, but generally it's fun. Kamala's a fun character to watch. And I like the relationships so far. That's a girl thing, I know.
See, I dislike that the most. I know. I'm not saying you're wrong, but it's different tastes.
Yeah, I do wish there was a bit more superhero stuff in it, but I want to see the next episode. I want to keep watching. I
would probably be off the train by now. I might.
Really?
Yeah, I would be like, I'll give it one more try. I like superheroes. Superheroes are my thing. This, to me, was marketed as a superhero show, and I got barely any superheroing at all.
The ending promised maybe some next episode?
I think that's a bait and switch. Because that's what they did last episode. They were promising, she laid her off thing, she's got the power, she says cosmic, and it's promising we're getting into the superhero thing, and then we get like brief, small, trying out, training superpowers, then teen girl drama the rest, and only at the very end do we get some superheroing, which I've got things to say about it. It wasn't terrible, the actual superhero part, but it was so small out of what I feel should be what the show is about.
Well, what level of superhero would you like? Would you like it to stop like the World Trade Center from falling down or something? Or
No. I see what I mean. Like the actual superheroing, I'm not. I think there's positive things to say about it. I'm just saying there's not enough. That's my point.
Like, what do you want to see?
It's more
I want to see a story.
Life, yeah.
I want to see a story about superheroes, not teen girl life.
But like, what do you expect? If you have expectations, what do you expect?
a superhero show.
I know. So, and what would that entail?
Oz,
Mostly
a
doing superhero
show.
stuff.
And can you tell me what that is?
Like 80% superhero stuff.
Just
Look at- wait.
superhero stuff.
I don't-
Okay.
Look at Spider-Man 1.
Mhm.
Spider-Man 1, he gets bitten. And then there's more like him talking with bloody Harry and Aunt May than there is Spider-Man stuff.
That's directly related and in context to his life as a superhero, as in how it's impacting him, how his superhero is impacting them, and everything. This, like, so much of it is just her being teen girl, going to a party, trying to get permission from the parents, and finding a
She
guy
did-
that she likes.
Who pulled up in a car to save her?
That's... Well,
That's
I think
stupid, I think. But
A little bit, yeah. But it's
But I see what you
related.
it should have a greater impact on her as well, because there are implications that he was only giving her attention because of the superpower thing now, and not that he actually was interested in her, and that should actually have effect on her self-esteem. And like, teen girls are always, for the most part, quite self-conscious and stuff, and insecure, and that I would say should play into the insecurities. There's potential for conflict to be explored there. Now, I guess this is the other side of the coin for my own criticisms here, is that if girls want a superhero show that's mostly teen girl life with only the sprinkling of superheroes, I guess, sure.
you'll allow it?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, fine.
Thank goodness.
I'm not saying they need my permission, but don't expect the mainstream superhero fans to get on board and say, to me, this was a very boring episode. It got me very disinterested. I will say the actress is as charming as ever. She is a very endearing actress and can pull off the things that, with confidence. And
Most of the actors are.
Yeah.
But in terms of the actual story, what's going on, her motivations as a character, what it says about her personally, very disinterested. And now, it goes a bit further, now being annoyed and dissatisfied because I feel some of the things that were supposed to be promised in episode 1 are barely given lip service in this episode. And the thing that I was saying in the last review, where I wanted to see a hero's kind of call to action conflict, exploring what it means to be a superhero. And I'd even really enjoy this from a girl's perspective as well, with potential things that are more stereotypically related with problems that girls have to deal with and boys and everything. I would be fully on board with that. To me, all my worries in episode 1 have been confirmed and made worse in episode 2. That I feel like the show is actually showing by what it was depicted, this is mostly going to be teen girl life. They're not going to explore the deeper themes of what it means to be a superhero. It's more about, hey, won't it be cool to be a superhero, to get likes, fame, glory, and all that stuff? And there's no deeper theme of self-sacrifice and heroism.
They made fun of the, what was the white girl's name, who was like a YouTube person?
Yeah, but you know
They
what
found
bothered me
purpose in
about
that.
that? Yeah, is that when she goes into high school, I have some criticisms about the plotting and execution of the episode. Like, there's some things that confuse me. But what annoyed me about that part is that she was jealous for all the attention that the girl was getting for being saved, and she felt like she was almost like, let's do a video or something like where she wanted to be a superhero to get attention and fame. That can work well if it's subverted and they're hit full on with, oh no, being a superhero is far more difficult. And this is the whole Peter Parker thing. He got the powers, he used it for fame, and it was addressed very quickly that no, this is a deeper story about understanding the responsibility of power and what you have is a gift, and well, I got nothing from that. And this episode seemed to more just say awesome superhero powers.
Yeah,
yes.
but she didn't use her powers to get any sort of fame. She didn't.
Not yet,
yet.
but she wanted to.
But I have noticed a few things in this episode that are problematic that aren't addressed. Like when a boy hands her a cup of not alcohol,
yes,
and she takes a sip,
yes,
and nobody reacts.
I felt the reaction was nowhere near as
To do that to a girl who's young, and then to also do it to a Muslim girl.
Yep.
Like,
dude, you'd
we're religious. And
you'd
part of
knock that guy out.
We're religious. Part of being our religion is not drinking alcohol. If someone did, well, this is the thing. Someone has done that to me when I was in high school. Her response was nowhere near. My response was I spat it out and I just walked away from him because I was so angry. If I was going to be anywhere near them, I would lose it. And it was such an insult to my
autonomy.
Actually, I actually found it to a level. What's the word? Cut this out.
Violation?
Violation. Yes, I felt on the level of being violated, like on
You were
on
violated.
yeah, against my will, personally, like. Because what it was, they had a juice box with a liquid that looked very much like apple juice in it, and it was unopened. And say, "Hey, do you want some juice?" They handed it to me. It's like, "Yeah, I like apple juice." And then, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And by the way, it was a girl that did it to me, not a guy either.
Oh.
Okay.
If it was a guy, I'd take him down.
Oh.
I can understand how maybe she wanted to be unproblematic and downplayed how she would have wanted to react. But even her friends and the dude just laughed and walked away, and they were
Bruno.
like, "Dude, not cool. Bye." Like,
That if it's against her religion to not drink alcohol, and she was fooled into
Yeah.
like one. I feel she should have spat it out instantly. That would be like, because that was my reaction when it happened to me. I couldn't believe that because she knew it wasn't.
I would have done that.
It was in her mouth, and then she swallowed. I was like,
I would have done that even if it wasn't against my religion. You're
Yeah.
expecting this sweet, delicious drink, and you get.
yeah, and then
Don't-
she swallowed.
Just don't drink something that a dude you don't know hands you.
So I'm glad you pointed it out. Thank you, because my response
Yeah.
was, "This is ringing very
But
untrue."
there's been a couple. There was a couple of those. There was like one where the lady interrogating was like, "Was she Latino? Oh, I'm sorry. It's Latinx now."
They don't like
What
that.
the hell
There
was
was
that
a
about?
lot of woke propaganda in this, where they kind of go out of their way to make comments about race, comments about British nationalism, comments about
Well, I'd say more
The
imperialism.
scene-
imperialism.
The scene in the bathroom, I thought we were going to get, I don't know, a nice conversation, because we don't ever get to see conversations about girls growing up in shows, because nobody wants to talk about it, and it's ew, gross and stuff. And I thought, oh, okay, we're going to have an open conversation, but it was just a race conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is an important conversation, but it was a bit misleading,
Well,
'cause
can I,
that's
like,
not what I was expecting.
When it comes to the important conversation, right? Okay, if people want to discuss important things like that,
yeah.
how about you make a documentary
How
on
is that
it,
a segue
or
from handing
like
someone a tampon?
don't say, "Hey, superhero show," and then when you're trying to hand it, oh, by the way, here's a lecture on race as well hidden in
Yeah.
it. Like, if I wanted to have a discussion on race, I'll go watch that. If I want to watch a superhero show, guess what? That's what I can. This is what people hate about the woke thing. Even if you agree with the politics, which I have an issue with the politics present, even if you agree with it, what about the concept of just giving someone what you are, promoting it as? And instead, it's got these woke politics in there because they have a message, and again, they have a message that they feel is so important that they'll even sacrifice other scenes that could have been really interesting for character development, for the situations going through, and instead do politics,
Yeah.
right?
Well, that could have also played into a character being, experiencing these changes as a superhero. How her nose was glowing and her eyes were glowing, and that could relate to puberty.
It barely
It would have been relevant.
I reckon that should have been the whole episode. How her not knowing how to control the powers is affecting her teenage life.
Yep.
That would have been so much better. I would be on
But
board
it's
with that.
only like seconds
Tiny.
clips. She walks away with like a glowing nose, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't an issue.
And it has no true impact until maybe the very end. It's not affecting her relationships. It's not affecting and so they kind of lent into it. But then she resolves the issue with the nose, and nothing truly serious or permanent or lasting came about from her trying to learn how to deal with superpowers.
And back to what I was saying, how they keep mentioning things. They keep making these passing comments that could be commentary, but they don't want to commit to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's the whole point. They got to sneak it in. It's got to be real sneaky. That's why it's subversion. By its nature, is deceptive.
Although I do appreciate how they're still being respectful of the family dynamic.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, but when I take this as kind of like a whole now,
Yeah.
there are some plotting issues that I don't think work. I think some of the times the characters are not being in line with how they've been set up. It is not giving me what I feel the show was supposed to. Like, it's not a superhero show.
Yeah.
And overall, I found it very boring. And so I would almost give this maybe a 4 or 3 out of 10.
Just back to the bathroom scenes you were talking about. There was a bathroom scene in the high school Western setting. Then there was a bathroom scene in the what do they call it again?
The mosque.
The mosque, right? And in the bathroom scene in the Western setting, about, oh, you know, race. For some reason, I'm a mixed race, and the whites don't like me, and the others don't like me. Well,
She was not ethnic enough for
Yeah.
ethnic people, and
But
she was
Which
too
is a real
white.
problem
No,
for
but-
people born like
yeah, but regular
well-
people don't think like that. Only the hardcore lefties do,
Only
Okay.
people who are extremely race conscious,
which is mostly lefties.
and I guess it's the experience you brought up in. Like I've grown up in Australia.
Tim
Okay,
Pool talks about it.
race was never an issue. One of my best friends growing up was a Filipino boy. Okay, and then when you hit the teenage years, anyway, he became a jerk. and it wasn't like, but I remember we actually had some great times growing up, and I found his culture really intriguing. And he gave me like an Indonesian bowler, like a knife at one
Indonesian, I
point.
thought it was Filipino.
Was he Filipino? See, that's how irrelevant. He might have been Filipino.
Yeah. See, the quote unquote racist one is the one who notices.
See, of course there were, Maoris, Tongans, everything like that. It's been such a non-issue. Race was never a concern growing up in terms of treatment with other people.
But then back in the mosque, they're not talking about any of that. They're just trying to get their makeup and perfume off.
And I also want to preface this. This is not to say that when kids get teased or bullied or anything like that, that kids didn't go for the low-hanging fruit, whatever they could visually identify that they might be able to make fun of, that they didn't. For me, I was teased for my nose and for my appearance and stuff. And I think, so one of the Filipino boys or Maori boys were teased because of having darker skin.
Yeah.
But it wasn't because we think you're less of a dark skin. It was low-hanging fruit, kids just looking for something different that they can latch onto.
When I was in high school, I was sitting next to this another white kid. He kind of looked like a hobbit, not gonna lie. There was I don't know where he was from. He might have been Indonesian, but he was dark and he had Asian, features. And the thing that this kid next to me was bullying him about wasn't any of his skin color or anything. It was his dead parents. Yeah.
Gosh. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
And to me,
suppose that's
that
lower-hanging
is
fruit.
far more cruel
I know.
than teasing someone for the
I'm
colour of their skin.
Low hanging fruit, man. They just go for the worst possible thing.
Exactly. And so, there are mean kids all throughout growing up, and they tease you and stuff. And it was like, I never thought anytime someone teased someone for maybe the colour of their skin or for being fat or short or anything, it was all just mean teasing. I never thought, that's racist, that makes you worse than if you're the person savaging another kid.
Who the hell cares why?
It's all mean.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the race issue was such a non-thing growing up.
It's like, if I ran up to someone and punched them in the back of the head, and they turn around and I'm like, oh, sorry, I thought you were white. It doesn't change it.
I mean, to be fair, they're in America. We didn't grow up in America.
I know
We don't
that
what it's
American
like.
culture is far more race conscious.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a great thing. I think,
No.
I mean,
It's not.
And
Well-
but the thing is, modern media is trying to make it like the world way more race conscious than it ever has been, and it's by things like this in media. What they put in Miss Marvel, the whole conversation about people are judging me because I'm not white enough and I'm not ethnic enough, is like, what is that going to put into their mind? It makes them more race
she say
conscious,
people
which
are
gives
judging
higher
her?
probability of racism. Sorry?
Did she say specifically that she felt people were judging her, or that she didn't fit in?
She was having trouble fitting in.
Because when you hear conversations like that, usually it's more they don't feel like they belong to either side, and so they feel stuck in the middle. And that's also with people who, like immigrants who move here and they grow up as an Australian, but they don't fit in with their Chinese family, for example. You've
hit on the very thing that I want to point out about just what you're saying here. My experience in terms of the feeling of fitting in, being singled out or everything, has never, again, my life experience, never been due to immutable characteristics. It's been due to culture and tribe. I have had exposure with two primary cultures or tribes in my upbringing, my religion and nerd culture. Religious culture, Latter-day Saint culture, nerd culture. And it like acceptance, or not even acceptance, a feeling of belonging has always been associated with people who understand the culture and have essentially the same practices. Like if you came into our church with a stubby in one hand and a smoke in another, everyone would look at you like...
And you'd be like, what's the Pope doing in here?
We'd be like... there would be a sense of you don't necessarily belong, but we would be wanting to actually, can you put those away and come, and then we'll try and Latter-day Saints are savagely interested in getting more people into our culture. It's called missionary work.
It says it in the Book of Mormon to let them be among you.
But that sense of belonging, though, exists, and you would
Yep.
not feel that you're, I guess, conforming to the culture if you're doing practices that are completely foreign to that culture. Same with nerd culture. If someone comes and starts talking about football and everything like that, and we're trying to play Magic the Gathering, I'm like,
I mentioned team sports one time in a group of arty folk at uni, and they all looked at me like, "Do you play sport?"
and race was never a thing. Like, you would feel part of the tribe and as an equal member of anyone else in the tribe, regardless of the color of your skin, as when you're just part of practicing culture and stuff like that. To me, that's where most sense of, belonging comes from. And when shows like this promote that you should feel different in any group if you don't have the same skin color, and it needs to be talked about and addressed, just makes the world more racist.
Yep.
And that's the plan.
This is why shows like Cosby Show and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was brilliant, because no one talked about race, really. It rarely came up. It's just, these are people living their life, and I didn't need to feel weird or anything watching a show with...
Well, they occasionally discussed it.
It did come up. I know it did come up.
Because sometimes it did affect.
Yeah, because who's the brother in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Carlton. He was accused for not being black enough in one episode because he acts like...
Yeah.
And he just smacks it down, because... That was what a great thing to show that.
What does that mean, being black enough?
Exactly. There's a good message.
But class is a form of culture, and the whole point of
I don't like classism either.
But class is a form of culture. The whole point of Will Smith coming into that family is because they were upper middle class.
Okay, yeah, that point I have.
And he was going crack-a-lacking all the time, but they were like, "Hello, sir, how are you doing?"
But see, my point is, I don't think you should presume someone's culture or tribe or anything like that based on their income level, is my point. Because you judge people on who they are and not their income level, not where they come from.
Yeah.
And even if most people who come from, say, upper middle class neighborhoods generally fall into...
But that's what they did in the show, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, going back to Miss Marvel, I feel it's important to point out the politics and some of the things that they're thing, and that just rubs me the wrong way. And then if we take into other things that I'm annoyed with, just giving me a poor opinion of the show. It's gone down quite a bit. Yeah. I will say, like I said, she was charming and everything like that. Let's get into some specifics, and maybe we'll even get to a scene-by-scene breakdown. But one of the things that I noticed about the disjointed depiction of the episode, do you notice how out of place it was when she goes into the school at the beginning of the episode, and she's just like super confident and like get out of, and she's like pushing people aside, and
she's a superhero now.
But see, to me, that felt really out of place. Nothing had actually happened to give her that confidence. In fact,
she had superpowers. But
she can't use them in school, and she was just punished for sneaking out, and she's having trouble learning how to use them.
Yeah, but think about it. She's idolized superheroes for her entire young life, and now she has superpowers.
Misplaced confidence.
Well, to me, we had not seen that level of confidence even hinted at in the first episode, and that I actually thought this was a daydream or an actual dream sequence where she feels more confident inside, and she's picturing that she's just going to come in and rule the school, and then it'll cut to her having this daydream as she walks into the school, and she'll trip over or something like that she still has to deal with her own insecurities and stuff, even though she has this building confidence. And then when I realized it wasn't that, I was like, okay, what happened to her character? It was like a 180 almost for me. I was like, this is a big leap.
Well, she's always been, charismatic and quirky and cutesy and all that. But now that she has superhero powers...
She was so reserved, she couldn't even get to her locker before.
I thought she was funny. I enjoyed that scene.
The performance...
I do see what you're saying.
Yeah, the performance of the actor was on point, but it was so inconsistent with the character.
It would have played out a little better maybe if they kept that, but then her crash back down to reality was a little harder than just running into a cute boy and then running into her friend.
Yeah.
And by the way, I said last episode, it's the perfect friend-zoned trope.
That's
the perfect friend-zoned trope.
Thank you for annoying me. That's the other thing that really made me dislike the episode, is the friend zone cat boy guy is like... It's
a little more subtle than usual, but it's there.
Gosh,
I wouldn't say it's subtle exactly.
To me, it was subtle as a brick.
It's more subtle than the usual trope.
Got the new guy from Britain sitting in the front seat driving, got her on the passenger side,
and him sticking in the middle trying to like.
His name even not forgotten.
That's also a common thing with in friend groups when a new friend joins.
Is
doesn't
it?
necessarily have
I don't know. I know
be a love interest trope, but I don't know.
simping is a plague upon the world at the moment because of ethos and things like that. I don't remember it being that blatant in school and stuff.
Oh,
I don't know.
Well, it was different in school because
Sims have been around since the beginning of time.
Yes,
the difference is if you're simping to a girl who's in front of you, there's not a possibility. There's no likelihood of you simping, but you're trying to, you know.
Look, it happens. I guess I just haven't seen it as much in
I mean,
my own experience. Just
Oh, Shad, we've heard your first line with Mary.
yeah, but
That's
this is the thing. Like, I would, if I was interested in a girl, I'd pursue it. And if it ever got to the point where there was no reciprocation of my attention, my reaction would be, yes, a bit of resentment. It's like, you don't deserve my attention. Because I had self-respect. Like, I actually feel my attention is worth something. And if you are looking upon it as worthless, it's like, no. It's like...
But they are friends already. It's not like he's
seen
her and started
it frustrates.
her.
Look, I know
it's the friend zone trope.
I can't criticize it for being unrealistic, but it frustrates me because so many male characters seem to. I don't know. I feel like it's too much of it in the world.
It's a trope,
and it makes him weak. And I kind of like him. He's friendly. He's kind. Because he has no self-confidence, no self-respect.
What should he do?
Get some balls and admit his affection and fight for the girl he likes.
What if the gender roles were reversed? She'd be weak as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But also, it's
But
being in that situation
hang on,
in
there
real
is
life.
a different expectation between men and women in terms of how confident and other things. Although it's being attacked in the modern day, but traditionally, the men have been expected to pursue the woman. You know,
Well,
they're the
the
ones who are
reason
to propose. They're the ones
Yeah.
and stuff.
Because women are the valuable ones in the relationship, basically, like, especially when starting out.
That's the traditional.
Well, they literally are all the time.
But now,
there's
even to this
also
day.
that, I mean, in context of the show, there's that established friendship, and they're also young.
look, I will admit, maybe my criticism here is being skewed too much by my own, feel, because I don't like it, and I'd rather young men to be taught to be respectful and confident and stuff like that. And
but it
Well,
is
it's not that
accurate.
British dude.
Yeah, but
so-
look, honestly, very few young men are going to be watching this, so I shouldn't really worry. Like, this is very much like the girl is, the structure of the show is made so girls to feel like that they are Kamala Khan. Okay, they want to imprint on her, and then as being the primary protagonist, they want a fantasy. This is like a power fantasy for girls almost, where they suddenly are adored by multiple people. They got the simping guy, you got the guy that suddenly is showing heaps of attention on her. That I feel should be subverted now because it's all about the powers, and there should be
It's
something.
a trope for a reason.
Yeah.
Is it a power fantasy for you?
Like look at Twilight. Twilight is like, made to be a girl fantasy where these two really hot, hunky guys are fighting for her affection, desperately so.
Supergirl. Have you seen the series? Supergirl series?
No.
She's got a friend.
That's
What's
right.
his name? Jordan
I watched the first
actor's
episode
name?
and I
He
almost
acts as an
vomited.
Incredible singer.
I almost vomited in the
It's
first
the same
episode where they
trope.
tried to justify giving her a cape would aid for her aerodynamics and being able to turn better. I was just like, what? The logic.
I like it. Anyway,
Might make you feel the wind easier.
she has the perfect friend zone trope.
Yeah, is it just more common in female shows, is it?
Yeah. Well, when you have sometimes it happens
What about
in
Mary
real
Jane?
life.
Yeah, look.
What about Mary Jane?
It happens in real life all the time.
Mary Jane's
That's why
friend zone.
it's called. That's why it has a word.
Well, Mary Jane is actually a far more complex thing with Peter Parker because the thing is, Peter Parker could be with Mary Jane. Okay.
No, I'm talking about just Spider-Man 1, the movie.
Spider-Man 1. Well, like I said, it's the being a superhero thing that is preventing him from being with a girl. He's not desperately simping
But not
with a
in
girl
Spider-Man
that's like I get it that
He
there
was
are many
simping for
stories
her
of
before
guys
Spider-Man.
being attracted to girls that are outside of their league, out of their league. The whole trope there.
Yeah, but that's the whole point, is that this young guy, Bruno, isn't in her league because he has the confidence
Really?
issue. No, because of his confidence issue. Clearly,
Look. Like I said,
clearly
I fully
Bruno
admit.
is an intelligent and confident in his abilities and going
Look,
places.
maybe
so-
my criticism is just being skewed and I'm being inconsistent with this part. I agree. I'm being upfront about that. But in terms of the inconsistency with Kamala and stuff like that, that annoyed me. And then I wasn't sure if the show was trying to demonstrate that sometimes she has it's called unreliable narration. And so, for instance, the concept, the trope, the writing trope called unreliable narrator comes up in more than one way. Like an example is from Wheel of Time, where the primary viewpoint character is saying that they are something different to the way they behave. Okay?
Didn't they do that in the first episode of the thing, the unreliable narrator, with her like vision of things, and then there was like the real thing that happened?
Yes.
What was it again?
Winning
the event, her winning the...
Yes, but that was more...
delusions of
We
grandeur
knew
sort of
very
thing.
clearly she was imagining what would
Yeah,
happen. In this
daydreaming.
episode, we get something completely different, where it switches between... It must, because there's the early explanation. It switches between her imagination and the real world without any cue apart from her behavior. And it's when the guy just shows interest in her, and she literally comes back and starts dancing. And there's actual, like, she's doing a Bollywood kind of dance montage, and credit to the actress. She's confident, she pulls it off and everything like that, but, it was like, you know, it was a cute thing for this young character to be so everything, but then she's dancing around and everything, and then she switches to speaking to her parents normally. The parents don't respond to that. The lighting, I think, even changes in the room as well. And then it switches back to dancing. And so this is clear, unreliable narration. We're seeing things from her imagination depicted as it's the real world. And so now I'm wondering if her entrance into the school was imagination.
But
I don't know, but there
wasn't any
wasn't... It wasn't
indication that it
there
was.
wasn't lights or anything. I'm a bit confused, you know? And so we get a lot of, as I mentioned, teen girl life, which has bored the hell out of me. And then finally, a call to action at the very end where she had an opportunity to save someone's life. This should have been like the episode, but more, and explore what happens in it, because something really interesting happens in it that then the episode ends, and I'm pissed as
It looks like that is going to be the format, because the first episode was like that as well.
No, but because they built it up in the first episode, like I said, and then they barely explore it until... and they did something here that I get the feeling, because the way the episode ended, they're not even going to address it. And this is one of the most intriguing, important parts for her character development, is that she almost let the boy die in trying to save his life. That should affect her deeply. It should affect her confidence. It should make her think legitimately that maybe I'm not good enough to do this superhero thing, because I could just end up getting people killed. And the arc should be that, no, even if you try to save someone's life and fail, the attempt was the act of nobility, and that was good enough. And it's better that you try and fail than not try at all. That should be the arc.
See, what I thought was happening in the first scene where she was dancing down the corridor was misplaced confidence. It reminded me of the scene in Spider-Man 3 where he gets the black goo and he starts...
Am I the only one that dances in public? When I was working at EB, I danced all the time behind the counter. I danced I danced for 45 minutes this morning.
Yeah, but...
And we were all feeling very awkward. And next time
I couldn't stop.
Oh, I'm just saying, next time, maybe just wear some clothes and then...
Look, dude, okay, the Jello was going to get on my clothes if I wore clothes.
Ah.
I'm not gonna, like green stains, dude, green Jello.
I still can't eat.
So yeah.
Sorry I stole your green Jello to do that, by the way.
Oh, didn't you give it back?
Well, he won't want it. It's all mushed up now.
So...
I made it go back into liquid somehow.
So I thought it was going to be a case of misplaced confidence, and I thought that's what we were getting a little when she was like, "Come to me, it's fine," and then she has a vision and then drops him, but still manages to save him in the nick of time. But then it's not addressed.
This shows me that the writers are not fully aware of the themes that they want to actually explore, because if they really want to explore that she's going to start questioning her own ability to be a superhero, that mistake should have happened from her own inattention, not caused by a malfunctioning power device.
But that her almost letting the kid die, but just barely saving him, and then leaving, she immediately fled and got into the guy's car because the police dudes.
That's because the police. Well, she was shocked, and this is where it was good.
Shocked,
she was visibly upset by the fact that oh no, almost let this boy die. And then immediately it switches the tone completely with mystery of powers, who's her grandmother, we need to talk to you and stuff.
And to me, doing that.
And to me, the beginning of the next episode is all going to be about that, and they won't. I'm worried that they won't even remember the fact that she was alive. I think they will, but to me, they're not going to explore it nearly as deeply enough to actually have a really interesting arc about that discussion of what it really takes to be a hero.
Do they have to capitalize on it though? Like, okay, he almost...
It would be better if they did, is my point. If they actually explored her insecurity and the fear that now, because she almost, you know, had a boy die on her trying to save him, right? Is that she could be worrying that she isn't capable of doing the job, and then she has an arc of proving her confidence, proving it to herself, and if that would be great. I feel like that at most they'll probably just have a flashback to it, and that's it. And they might not even do that because of how they subverted the build-up of the first episode and what we got in the second, and the tonal shift at the very end, because now we're expecting in episode 3, well, she's got to deal with the grandmother thing and the mystery of the boy and stuff, and will they even remember that she almost had a boy die when she tried to save him?
I suppose they could do both.
Look, credit if they do.
Never.
I don't think they're going to, and I'm annoyed by it. I hope I'm wrong.
Another thing that bothered me a bit was the weird manipulation of the father from her friend.
Yeah, that was weird.
And we don't know whether the show thinks it was bad or good, other than he felt really bad from it.
And my thing is, like, what relevance does that have to the actual story that's supposed to be happening?
No idea.
Hence why I was so bored. There is a lot of stuff like that's just happening that actually has no point in the larger story. Like the whole thing with the mosque and the election to be head of the mosque person, stuff like that. Like, it is all irrelevant. I don't give a crap. And they spend a lot of time on it.
Well, it's irrelevant to Kamala. I mean, not necessarily because it's her friend who's doing it, but we don't feel the connection between those other things and her.
Yeah, and to me, it's just like they wanted a feminist girl power in the show, and it's like, look at this, an independent Muslim woman becoming leader of the thing, and it's like...
Power to her, but like, why are you manipulating your friend's dad?
Yeah, weird.
Also...
He felt so bad.
Yeah. So it was the election to have
that was mean. She's a mean person for doing it. Manipulative and in...
But how does the show feel about it, though? Because it's not addressed.
Well, I'm realizing, like, as I look at it in broader, that's just awful person.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not...
Yeah, sorry. I was going to say, she's going up for an election of head of a mosque. They showed us in the show the women praying behind a screen, behind the men, and they had to wash all their makeup and perfume off before going in. Do you really want to look too closely at Islam, Disney, if you want to be all progressive and show how inclusive Islam is? I have a feeling that their depiction of Islam here is not even halfway close to what a truly devout Islamic mosque could be like. If that girl's brother was at the party when she drunk the thing, that would have been against people in Hollywood do not understand how orthodox and traditional many sects of Islam is. And this, like, the depiction of Islam here, I get the impression, I don't know enough about it, but I have certain points of reference from coming from a pretty traditional, and people would consider Latter-day Saints to be quite, firm in the lifestyles we live and stuff, a bit more extreme than the average Christian. Based on what I know about Islam, which isn't much, probably not much more than you actually, probably less than you actually, it feels like they're swapping between whether they want to go Orthodox or whether they want to go Western. Because there's Western, which is very different, and a lot of people would say in the Orthodox that all of that is haram and they're not Muslim. Back to the alcohol scene. Well, could we put a pin in that and just... Because the Muslim conversation is interesting to me. We'll come to it. It's related. Okay. I was going to say, we don't know how she feels about the own religion because we're seeing her... Well, I live behind the screen. How am I supposed to do this? And then with the alcohol, she swallows the alcohol, but she doesn't seem bothered by it much. Well, Disney... So we don't know how she feels about her own... I am so confident in this that I could almost promise you that Disney does not have the balls to depict a character breaking away from Islam tradition and things like that, and actually having conflict in tension. To me, they're just showing a extremely liberal view of one of the denominations of Islam. But why does she have to break away? Why can't she like it? It's a family religion, yeah. They don't want anything to be different. Either side. Yeah, my point is Disney does not want to depict anything negative on Islam because they're fine to crapping on Christianity, but they will never do anything that could be perceived, not even it really is, but could be perceived as vilifying Islam because... But they do it by implication. Again, women praying behind the men behind a screen, and they did ADR as well when she spoke back to her imam.
In a religious setting, right? Even though that is actually a step further than what we have even Latter-day Saint, but I actually think it's perfectly appropriate to have environments that are catered towards women and men in a religious setting. Absolutely.
Oh well, yeah. If
but
it was
then
like
the screen
sports.
would be down the middle.
Yeah.
Not behind them.
Maybe, yeah. Look, because I'm just saying, I disagree with the idea of the hijab. Just like even I understand the religious context and everything like that. But anyway, that's all I'll say on that. Because of course, there's many things I disagree with Islam. I am interested in the depiction of it, and what I was saying is I feel this depiction is so liberal. I actually feel it would offend, in a large measure, most traditional, devout
Orthodox,
Muslims. And I'm not even saying the extreme, really Orthodox ones, just even middle of the road ones. And as a missionary, I had heaps of great conversations with heaps of awesome Muslims, right? Who were how they were devout in their religion and stuff like that. It was really, really good. In actual fact, in some instances, I was treated in a more Christian way by Muslims than other Christians, because other Christians, especially, the more militant ones, they hate Mormons. I remember one time we were invited someone to learn about, the Book of Mormon, stuff like that. It's like, sorry, I don't speak with the sons of Satan. And she moved on. It's that's the view that some,
they have a Satan?
No, that was Christian, obviously. Christian response to me. Some people really hate us Mormons. Some Christians really hate us Mormons. A lot of the Islamic, Muslims I had good conversations ran into had far of a less issue with it, because they're just another Christian, but these Christians are, at least they're a bit more devout than other ones. They're trying to preach the gospel, and we get into good conversation.
We've got some Muslims in the Discord. We've got some people from Pakistan in the comments.
I would be interested in your analysis of how you feel, if you've even seen the episode, how you feel Islam is depicted in this series, if it's disrespectful. I get the impression that they're showing a vastly more liberal depiction of Islam.
And watered down.
Yeah, because Islam is not compatible with progressive ideology.
A lot of and they're in line with a lot of Christian beliefs. They're very anti-gay marriage, and they're very traditional. This is why I liked episode 1, because it showed a conservative family, which is very rarely ever depicted in Hollywood. And it seemed like, okay, they're going out of their way to depict a religious, family more accurately. And I think the perspective of the parents, that was more so, but the actual religion itself, in the mosque and things, and would they even let a woman kind of
speak up like that?
Yes, and also run for leader of something in this context? I would like to know. I don't think it's accurate.
And it was just disturbing the way she treated the dad.
Yeah, that was
what. Are you going to destroy the dreams of a young girl because we have women's suffrages? Yeah.
What a manipulative cow.
What countries do we have the suffrage in?
There are better ways she could have done that, though.
Yeah, so I hate the friend now.
Yeah, she sucks.
She had a malicious expression as well.
Poor dad. He just
he looked so
it's funny.
Torn and
distraught. I'm wondering, he was so no expression. I'm just wondering if we look at that as if he's thinking, we're going to have to burn her at the stake.
Oh, no. Stoned in the street.
I'm sorry.
Either way, who's thinking, on a killing time. I'm kidding.
No, look, we know there's a tradition of stoning in Judeo-Christian things as well,
Not anymore.
Look, I'm just saying, I have a feeling there was less adultery back then, all right?
Yeah, so consequently, because there was less of it, harsher punishment.
No, that's the joke. I'm saying there was less because the joke...
Oh, okay. Now I get it. I needed to explain to me. See, sometimes I need to explain the joke. People understand it already. Sometimes I need to explain it.
All right, so those are a lot of my broader observations about the episode. Big miss for me, unfortunately. Any other things that you can think of? And then we can go to maybe a scene-by-scene breakdown to catch anything we missed.
I didn't mind it.
Look, all the criticisms aside, I didn't hate it. I do want to watch the next episode to see what happens.
Until they seriously offend me, they haven't yet.
Oh, there's a lot of woke stuff in it, though.
I know, but I'm used to that, man. That's my bread and butter. I expect that.
Yeah. What's interesting, ending off this broad conversation, Miss Marvel is being ignored. So few people are interested in this show. For one, it's
it
getting
got review bombed as well.
Did it?
Yep.
Oh, why would... That's a bit of a turning of the tables there, isn't it?
What do you mean?
White supremacists bombing Muslims.
We don't know they were all white, Oz. What if this was mostly Muslims getting angry with
No.
their depiction of their own faith?
Can I
Probably,
look it up
maybe,
quickly?
actually.
Do they call it haram, or is that
Haram, yeah.
Like, this is haram? It's like, what? And it's weird because a friend wears the hijab. She doesn't, but she does when she goes to the mosque. That seems to make sense. But is there? Oh, I know there are a lot of. I'm just wondering to what extremity is she expected?
Well, the
Perfect,
girl
yeah.
who wears... They explained it in this episode. The reason she wears the... what's it called? Not burqa, the headscarf thing?
Hijab?
Hijab.
Well,
There is-
she yeah.
She
Is
wears
it-
that because she doesn't fit in with white people or Muslim people. So I'm going to just wear it because... And then she realised that she doesn't need to impress anyone, but she still wears it. It was weird and stupid.
I don't know which direction it was being review bombed though.
Yeah.
Landed a new series of 98% positive tomato.
Oh no,
rating.
it'll be both. There'll be people who are just like because female protagonist and representation, diversity, bestest show ever.
First episode, it was being review bombed.
It was review bombed both ways.
Both ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
so-
even... and it's crazy that they're allowed to have this Twitter account. The Taliban's Twitter account actually tweeted about this. They said,
really?
Miss Marvel, time
Right.
for you to destroy America.
Okay, you're joking.
They do have a Twitter account.
I don't know. The
It's hard
world
to
is
tell
so
sometimes.
strange. I can't tell.
Reality is stranger than fiction.
But
Yep.
but okay, what I'm saying here, my observation in the primary fan community. These are the fans that superheroes are, that we all love superheroes and everything like that.
Yeah.
There is disdain and resent for Miss Marvel.
Yeah, but they're
And I-
burnt from everything else.
Well, I predicted this from episode 1. I said this is so foreign and different to what a good superhero show you would want to be, and because we're not getting the good superhero stuff, so I think like most superhero fans wouldn't have any issue with, hey, a superhero character show that's catered for young girls.
You want teens and superheroes, Young Justice, or the anime Teen Titans?
Well, look, like I said, balance. They wouldn't care if we were getting
That's
what we
good
wanted. Primary superhero fans aren't getting anything that they want these days, and so they just like another thing catered for someone else, like spitting on the original fan base. Essentially, that's their perception of it. We're not going to have a bar of it. Ignore it. It's crap. That's their response.
I can honestly say I enjoy this superhero thing more than I enjoyed any of the new Spider-Man movies. I
Really?
enjoyed this
That's-
Really?
Yes, because here's the thing: the high school students here in this, like the girls, act like girls. The high school students, like the boys in Spider-Man, the new one, act like girls. Right? That's not how dudes act in high school.
Well, see,
Which ones?
Peter, his friend, all
No,
of the
which
dudes.
movies? The
Spider-Man,
Tom Holland
the
ones?
Tom
Yeah,
Holland
yeah.
ones is talking about.
Yeah.
See, what my annoyance, like we have reviews. I actually don't like. I liked Homecoming. Is that the first one?
That's the Homecoming.
No
That's one.
idea.
I liked Homecoming. I really didn't like Far From Home, and
No Way Home.
No Way Home. I also didn't like, and the reasons why I didn't like Tom Holland Spider-Man, and the same reasons why I'm disliking Miss Marvel at the moment, is to me this is an immature teenager with superpowers making dumb choices already, and that friggin' annoys me. And it more annoyed me with Peter Parker because Peter Parker was always a far more mature teenager for his age, and he was forced to become an adult much sooner because of the powers that was thrust on him. He had to grow up. He had to. That was such a great uplifting thing, and he was smart and responsible. And the Tom Holland one, like they set it up in the first one to become that, and then he becomes the same, teenager, selfish and things, and it just frustrated me a lot. And then we get this in this one, and it's just like I don't. Yeah, have a teenage superhero, but have one that makes us want to be better as an example. It's like, no, we're going to make a teenage superhero as dumb as all other teenagers. It's like, well, then I could have just remembered high school. I don't need that crap.
I think you just don't like teenagers, Shad.
Teenagers are dumb. I was dumb when I was a teenager.
They're dumb, but they're not.
No offense.
They're not awful. They're just people. Who
We have my teenage nieces in the studio with us.
Like,
How
no-
are you?
No, here's the thing.
But
Shad.
wait, I will say
Kids are
about
dumb. Kids are dumb.
I won't say her name. I was about to say her name. She's actually far more mature for her age. You're
Yeah.
not as dumb as normal teenagers.
Here's the thing,
And
Shad.
she's nodding. She knows.
Kids are dumb, and a teenager is on the transition to trying to become a young adult, right?
Yep.
So the kid part of them is the dumb part.
Yeah. Well, I know that there are great stories of teenage coming of age stories, everything, and I look good. And there's some that I also love. To me, Spider-Man was a coming of age story, but had far more nobility and actually had more growth and maturity in it. if the teenager is going to continually just be a teenager,
Well, which Spider-Man are you talking about? The Spider-Man movies?
traditional Spider-Man I was
Like
talking about.
the comic book arc, his character in all the comic books? Like,
Not in all the comic books,
Like
but some of the
generally,
best. Yeah,
like his
generally.
story,
The
right?
themes of
Maguire?
Spider-Man.
well, to be
are quite-
fair, those are across a lot of issues. This is 2 episodes of a show that's got how many episodes? We haven't seen the whole thing.
look, to me, if
It's
this is
very slow moving.
yeah, this will be very unsatisfying if most of the show is dumb teenager, my teenage life, and then only become a good superhero at the end. Like, to me, no. You want dumb teenager in the first episode, challenged, and then struggle becoming the superhero. We want a superhero story. This is not it.
I'll make comments about an arc when I've seen it wrap up.
Yeah, granted, it'll be I'll have more objective commentary on terms of what this show is trying to depict and say about the character and everything, at the whole thing. If I'm just judging it on these 2 episodes, I'm annoyed. This is the previous episode, and I remembered there are some things I wanted to actually say about the previous episode. That in retrospect, all right, these are issues that I'm now able to see. First issue doesn't make sense. The first time she puts on this bracelet, which is a part of her big cosplay outfit that she's been preparing for supposedly months, is right before she goes on stage. You're telling me she never put on the bracelet beforehand just to
They
see what it
only
looks
just-
like? She didn't even know how to open it.
And her mum took it away from her.
I don't. No. I think she got it before. I know the mum took it away, but then she got it out of it, and she's like,
Just before this. Just before
Really?
coming
I
to
need to
this, and she
confirm.
couldn't figure out how to open it.
Okay. Well,
that's
again,
right,
it's
yeah.
like then. What if she gets that she can't open it? You would at least want to make sure you can open it.
What's his name?
She's a kid.
Bruno
She-
opened it.
Okay. Well, yeah,
She left
it
her
was-
gloves too.
to me,
forgot.
to me, it was dumb.
She's a dumb kid. Kid's dumb.
The next thing that annoyed me, and this one actually kind of a big issue for me, because to me, this should be important for the reflection of, like, to me, a superhero is a character that needs to learn to become one, or had the nobility in them all along and just lacked the powers to truly help other people. This is why Captain America works so great. He was fighting bullies already, but getting the smackdown. Now he has powers, and is just behaving the way he always did as a good person.
Can you say that again? So they either
Learn to become a noble superhero and stuff like that. And I'm talking about not an anti-hero. I'm talking about a good superhero,
proper
right?
superhero, yeah.
Yeah.
They have that nobility with them already, but they lack the powers to be able
Like
to.
Captain America.
Like exactly.
Yeah, that works.
So they had such an opportunity in the first episode to show an inner nobility, and holy crap, they do the opposite. So Kamala Khan, this is her fault. She accidentally causes, Ant-Man's head rolling around,
Yep,
knocks
yep.
Thor's hammer. Thor's hammer is coming towards them, and there is a girl in the way of Thor's hammer and Kamala. What is her response? What does she do?
Move and then ducks.
And she jumps out of the way and lets the girl get clobbered.
Look,
She
I
could have
was-
died.
I was a little surprised by that
That-
as well.
that's actually-
That was a bit weird.
To me, that's all. Like, this is a superhero show. If you want to show the nobility of Kamala, what should have happened is that she wasn't in the way of the hammer. The girl was, and she runs to either push her out of the way. She gets knocked by the hammer and has to use her powers to save herself, or maybe
Yeah.
the girl's fallen off a stage
Or
and
trying
something
to
battles.
save her, she trips just before she gets to her. and
Any
then-
number of things,
Yeah.
exactly. In this one, instead of even pushing her out of the way, trying to save, she just yeets her, saves herself, and lets the other girl get clobbered. I was like, what? I mean, and so to me, that shows the opposite of an inner nobility wanting to help others. It's
Yeah.
like, save myself, you can die.
To be fair, that whole situation was a Final Destination deal where it's like, oh, I knocked a thing.
The head just kept rolling.
The,
and
yeah,
rolling
the head
and
knocked that,
rolling.
and this one swing back and threw her up into the ceiling, and she was like a trapeze and all this other
Yeah, it
crap.
was a crazy scene.
Yeah. The head keeps rolling, slows down.
It
keeps-
was, honestly, it was a very dumb scene. Like,
Yeah.
very, very dumb.
It wasn't well
That-
done.
So dumb that it knocks down my rating
Why would
of that
Ant-Man's head
episode
be so heavy?
at least
It
by
would've
a
been
full
hollow.
point. Yeah, I know, exactly. Paper
Yeah, but
mache
they
or
made it
something.
out of 2-inch thick steel.
So the stupidity of that scene, like I said, that takes it down at least a full point, if not more. And the last thing about episode 1 that I thought was really poorly executed, because again, it goes into my annoyance of where is the true heroism in this character, right? So when she's on the roof talking with Bruno, is it Bruno? It is Bruno.
Bruno.
And
Not Brian.
Not Brian,
Bruno.
Bruno. We got the guy who died in the ship wrong in our Obi-Wan. People were rightly outraged. We're sorry. We are awful people.
Well, I didn't say his name. I don't know his name.
You're an awful person for not knowing his name.
Well, at least I didn't get it wrong.
We're sorry.
I didn't presume Shad. I did not
Actually, I
presume.
think you did. I think it's you.
No, I don't think so. I never said the guy's name.
We'll see.
Or maybe I said like, oh, Carl died or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah, I
that.
think that's what you did.
I was just using it as a placeholder.
People, you are rightly outraged. Anyway, going back.
Who cares what Carl's real name was?
I'm being sarcastic.
To me, he's Sargon.
Facetious. They're on the roof. They're talking. And the whole context of the conversation is that she's not going to be allowed to go to AvengerCon, and she's got this armor, the outfit, and everything like that. And to me, then massive non sequitur wasn't related to the actual conversation. Where she says, "It isn't the brown girls from whatever who ends up saving the world."
Yeah.
And it's like, where did that come from? There was no indication of her actually wanting to be a superhero apart from emulated, like fangirling, essentially, but not the truth that I want to save the world, and it's not the like it was just. It was forced in. It was a non sequitur to the conversation. It was out of place. It just didn't flow.
I can see maybe how for someone like her it would be on her mind.
But also, 2004 Halle Berry Catwoman. She was.
That doesn't exist in the universe.
But still, like, we've been through this social thing before. We've had black female superheroes.
It's them forcing
But does that universe have it in the media, present in the media?
But that's the point is, no, the reason they said it is to make a comment about the social situation today.
Yeah.
But in our world, we've had Domino, who is white, and they turn black.
Yeah, we have heaps of
black female superheroes.
True. And it goes back ages. We had like lots of like it's like when Disney also tried to say, you know, there's a backlash for black characters in Star Wars when there was heaps of black.
There's literally a character called Black Panther whose sister is the smartest woman on the planet, canonically.
Exactly. Good. So this is what the point of it was like. Oh, she doesn't know about Black Panther then.
Well, to be fair,
they probably don't know he's actually black, maybe, but.
It's actually Ryan Gosling.
But hey, people assume Spider-Man was black underneath. That was from No Way Home.
Only because he could jump high.
Just the electric dude.
The electric dude. But this is my point, is that to me it was forced racial commentary. And again, this just makes the world more race conscious, which makes people more racist, in my opinion. And it's...
I'm still forming an opinion on that one. I used to be of your opinion, but I don't know how to work it out 100% in my head, because I don't want to fall in... They present you with a dichotomy where you have to go one way or the other, and I don't want to fall into that trap because it feels like the same thing to me. But that's just me thinking out loud.
All right, we'll let you think out loud then. Okay, so now we're back to episode 2, scene by scene. But those are my thoughts on episode 1. We shall continue. Okay, so this is when she comes in, and she's like super confident, almost dancing around.
What if you found out you had superheroes one day?
Superpowers?
Superpowers, yeah.
I would be in the oh crap, what does this mean? I would be more reserved, thinking about the deep implications. Like, you know, a more appropriate scene is like she's sitting in class and just completely deadpan just because of wow, what's happening. People are like, Kamala, is everything all right? And she's like,
same. I'd be like that. I'm like, oh damn, I've got superpowers. I'm gonna go fly
in front
now.
of everyone to be like Slay Queen.
No, I wouldn't use them in front of everyone. Actually, no. Yeah, I would. I'd be like, I am Iron Man.
Dancing down the hallway, Slay Queen.
Yeah. You want the biggest high five of your damn life?
To me, look, all right. They could have justified an overconfident attitude if they were then consistent. But she's not. She's still really reserved, nervous, and insecure in many aspects of this episode. And especially when she tries to do first time to save someone, she's barely like, you know. So this overconfidence is out of place, unless it's an imaginary thing.
That nose thing, right, where her nose starts glowing, was that an analogy for unexpected
puberty things?
Period. Because she got the temp, like that's what.
I mean, I just to me they could have had something interesting, because part of the Spider-Man story is actually somewhat. There's analogies in it in regards to puberty and, you know, the changes in your body, you're not knowing how to deal with.
Like in the first one, where web fluid just comes out by its own and you can't do anything about it.
That's what I thought that scene was going to be about.
Well, they don't explore it. They just have this little thing that has no real impact.
And if it was a metaphor for that, then they would have had people in class comments be like, "Oh, did she get it?"
Well, I mean, they had a pretty blatant. Do you need a tampon? It's like,
to be fair.
Well, if you're as a girl,
in the bathroom,
runs up to the bathroom, I'd be like, "Do you need something?"
Yeah.
That is a thing that.
But
happens.
to me, that
Girls
was
do that
again if they were wanting this to be presented to a wider audience than just girls, they might have been a bit more subtle with.
Well, unfortunately,
I like having stuff just for girls.
I don't.
Unfortunately,
I think,
Shad.
yes, I think that's great. If guys get it as well, this is supposed to be a superhero show. Where is the cool superhero?
We
Stuff for guys.
we
Do you not know
men
about periods?
we men have more subtlety, like you demonstrate. Where women will just run off to the bathroom to get a period. You will stand up and be like, "I'm going to take a crap. My turd will be massive. Be proud of me when I return."
That'd be hilarious.
And then me and Nathan stand up and salute you.
Yep. And then I come
Yeah,
back
but-
and give in a description of my bowel movement.
Yep.
If
and
a girl announces, I'm getting my period, everyone goes, ew.
because it is kind of gross to us. It's blood from period that, you know,
But not feces.
But everyone has feces.
not everyone has blood come out of their, you know, their front part.
Not everyone has feces coming out the bottom.
Yeah, people have been in serious accidents.
Right, I'm moving on. And so then, yeah, they're looking at all the likes that the girl who was saved gets, and she's like, I want that many likes, and it rubbed me the wrong way. It's like, and then she's milking
A
it.
little too real, Shad.
What do you mean?
She's like, I got this many likes. Yeah. I'm sorry, it just feels like me. Like, I put a comment up, or like, people, there's a comment saying, Oz, funny thing here, haha, and I got 100 likes, you know, stuff like that.
You see something like that, they could make it a commentary, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not. Look, just on her attempt at social media, I'm glad that they didn't give her heaps of followers already and stuff like that. In terms of Kamala Khan,
Has
she's
she
making
attempted
making
social
YouTube
media?
she's making YouTube videos at the beginning, remember?
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
not related to her powers.
I know, but it would annoy me if she's just like slaying on
Right.
YouTube as well. And it's like, because I know how hard it is to be successful at YouTube.
If I had superpowers, I would start a YouTube channel. Named my superhero name, where I go and I'd do exactly what Spider-Man does, except for YouTube, not for the Daily Bugle.
So, look,
Hey
we don't
guys,
really.
don't
The
forget to like and
guy,
subscribe.
Mm.
the guy walks past, is like, "Hey, come to my party. You're cute." And then's like, "Yeah, look, this part I didn't mind." It's like, "I'm not going to the party. Hot guy going to the party. I'm going to the party." It's like, yes,
I can't believe, like, why would anyone in their right mind invite a British person to a party?
I feel offended.
Unless it's the Labour Party.
I'm part British.
You're part British.
Yeah, of course
That
I am.
explains everything.
What percentage?
Technically, you could say I'm wholly British.
What do you mean?
Oh,
When's the last time I saw you drinking tea?
We're members of the Commonwealth. We are,
Subjects of the
subjects of the Crown.
Mm.
Rule Britannia. Okay, so not being out of control of powers. This should have been the focus of the episode, but it barely comes up.
I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird scene where they fall down together.
Yeah. I feel sorry for this guy. Gosh.
He's going to Caltech. His life is set.
No, he is going to sacrifice achieving his dreams for a girl that's barely paying
I
attention
swear,
to
if
him.
he does that, I'll be
No
pissed.
way.
Thank you. There's where my
Yeah.
annoyance is coming from.
If he does that.
But have they implied that?
Well,
Yeah,
they
they
told
said-
him...
Hey, you've been accepted to Caltech, and he's like, yeah, but it's on the other side of the country. Remember?
Oh, did he say that?
Yep.
If he refuses to go, I'll be pissed.
Thank you. Dude, get some more self-respect.
Maybe he does decide
She,
to
like-
go, and it'll create a conflict.
She should.
Better to go to Caltech than to Simp.
Well, look, actually,
Simpville.
we've expressed
Party
a
on.
way. Yeah, we've expressed a way that would be very unsatisfying to the conclusion or exploration of this arc. You've mentioned one that would be satisfying if he actually decides that no, I need to pursue my dreams, and Kamala isn't showing me any interest, and so I couldn't say, Kamala, I'm going, and then Kamala realizes she likes him and can't live without him, and she actually does show some affection backed in
Yeah.
true one, then that could be something that could
Or they
explore.
could subvert the trope altogether, and they don't get together, and they realize.
But
they're
that's
besties
not a
for life.
subversion, though. That's just like poor guy simming after
IRL.
girl realizes that she's not into him and has to move on.
Um,
Too late. He realizes it too late after neglect.
what's this kid's living situation? Because
Yeah, who
Is
is
he emancipated?
I don't know. Yeah, it's weird.
I've never seen him.
Yeah.
With the place we see him live,
Yeah.
there are no parents.
And he hangs
Good
out
point.
with her family a lot.
And if there are parents, then they'll make the decision for him. You're going to Caltech. I mean, that's no.
Okay.
You're going to Caltech, son.
You're going
Alright.
to Caltech.
Just like that.
Training, exploration of the powers. Should have had more of that. That was really fun. He reaches some baffling conclusions based on really tenuous inputs, where he says, for some reason, he's able to scan her body temperature or something.
I said that.
And then,
Thermal cameras exist.
yeah, okay, he did that.
But we didn't see
But
it
then the
set up.
conclusion is that the power isn't coming from the bracelet, it's coming from you. It must have unlocked an inner power within you. I'm like, what?
Okay, try it. Take the
Superhero
bracelet off
stuff.
and try it.
Superhero
It's
stuff.
like, come on. That was just like a piece of bullcrap they just reached for there. It was like, even if there was a great air heat coming from her body, you could, the bracelet is doing a magic thing, giving you the ability.
Also, if the heat was too far over in like
Mm-hmm.
degrees in her chest, wouldn't that kill her?
Good
Superhero
point.
stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, I guess.
Look, yeah, I like that she's having trouble controlling, and they set up she has trouble maintaining the solidity of what she makes, and so it would have been perfect when she's trying to save the boy that she has trouble maintaining this. That it's on her that it falls apart and he almost dies, and then that would be far more powerful. It's like they're too afraid to actually
They
make.
had a little bit of that.
But it was because she got a vision from it was the thing's fault.
They had a little bit at the beginning, but then at the end, that was caused by the vision.
But yeah, and the fact, it's like you said, the fact that she tried, almost failed, but tried and succeeded, even though she can barely control it, it's better that she did something rather than doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was so much more they could have done.
But she took the time to change, which I thought.
Yeah, that was dumb.
That was like.
So she was
what?
wearing an outfit that looks like the Ms. Marvel outfit, but they make her change. Like she was wearing the red scarf, she was wearing a blue longer dress.
Oh, see, I just noticed that she changed outfits completely.
She was wearing an outfit that was
more like the comic
More
I
book.
traditional.
assumed was
Yeah.
a homage to the
Oh,
comic
'cause-
book outfit, but then she changed
And
took the time to change before saving the kid.
see, I didn't notice what she was originally wearing had any similarity to her actual superhero outfit, but I did notice that suddenly she changed outfits completely when someone is hanging for their life, and
I mean,
she had it on her. Did she?
underneath, but she put a jacket over the top.
Okay,
Took her scarf
also,
off.
right,
Anyway,
that goes against the progressive thing where, like, they could have had a whole thing about, a superhero wearing traditional Muslim garb and still being kind of cool.
well, her mum mentioned your skin tight costume.
Yeah.
Can't wear tight clothes, but
Well,
she's not wearing
to
the
me,
original Ms. Marvel costume.
There's layers to that because, like, one, I like that the mum is so strict, but also is like the Miss Marvel outfit is not actually like
but
skimpy in any way.
The mum is so strict, but she said yes to her going to a party straight away.
Yeah, but she did. You know why? She didn't actually say it was a party in this episode.
Had some friends over.
She's like, a friend of mine is
I
having
missed
some friends
that.
over. I would like to go. Very dishonest of you,
So the
Kamala.
mum- so that makes the mum sound more reasonable rather than
Yeah.
just a 180.
To be
But
fair,
it makes
though.
her. That was dishonest. I was paying
Right.
attention. She avoided saying it was a
Right.
party.
If I told my parents, hey, I want to have a few friends over, or hey, I'm going to a place where my mate's having a few friends over,
Yeah.
that means a party.
Not to me.
Not
but
to
when-
my parents.
Not to my parents.
But when she went like, hey, there's this thing called Avengers Con. It's a massive conference in the city. She's like, what, like a party?
Yeah, to me it's funny because that
Oh,
was
yeah.
like
Good point.
There'll be drinking there. There will be boys there.
yeah.
There'll be haram there.
But
Yeah,
from
yeah.
from the more, I guess, conservative household, when you say a friend of mine is having some friends over, that's just hanging out with some friends.
Yeah,
If I said that to my parents and it was really a party with alcohol,
But she assumed one was a party that was clearly like a thing in the city.
that wasn't actually a
Yeah.
drinking party.
and then
this is-
the one that is clearly
Is actually a
identified
party.
as a party is like,
not a
oh, go ahead.
But she said it was a hanging out with friends.
yeah.
Like-
Kamala did.
Bringing a couple of friends around,
Yeah.
something like that.
All right, so yeah, she's getting better with her powers, and then a whole mosque sequence.
Now she gets her shoes stolen, but
Wait,
they don't address
I
it
know,
other
like,
than she wants to become the leader.
so much here happens, which is
They
irrelevant
don't
and pointless.
address things.
Yeah, like we don't. Nothing of this has true importance to the plot. It's just teenage life doing things. My friend, you're great. You can be slay girl power stuff.
slay.
Yeah. And look, I kind of liked that they showed some of the kids playing with phones in the background. Again, I don't know how
That
strict.
would not happen.
Well, the thing is, though, I identify more with that from being like in church. Like that's something that kids in my own church would get in trouble for. I don't know how extreme or again, I don't know if it's
I went to a devotional last week, and there were
Mhm.
people using their phones like
Hmm.
almost the entire thing,
Yeah.
which was
Well,
annoying.
you
So,
can also have
does this
music
happen-
and
wait,
scriptures on your phone.
does this happen regularly in Islam, Muslim mosques? Let us know.
You would not be distracted. You go there to, like, they're very reverent.
Yeah.
Which I think I respect. I respect a lot of how devoted a lot of
It's just
Muslims are.
Annoying that Disney's like, oh, yeah, they'll be happy to have Instagram stuff on the background.
Their
Yeah,
shoes
they-
are stolen, not
I
addressed,
thought
and
that was
then
weird too.
it's like, you should run for leader person. It's like, yes, I should.
She said that was her 20-second pair of shoes that was stolen. Put like a tracker in it or something.
nobody
You know, you can
cares?
buy them.
Yeah. Well, the purpose of the shoes getting stolen was to set up that needs better leadership, and you are the one who could lead us
But
to
what has that got to do with Kamala?
nothing.
Other than her friend manipulating her father.
Oh, yeah.
Who the hell would steal?
Okay, so this is asking to go, I'm sorry for breaking out. Look,
What do you
she...
look like fancy shoes?
This is something that rings untrue, right?
Hmm?
She is not punished for sneaking out. To me, if that happened in like my home or my experience with conservative parenting and stuff like that, like more strict conservative, that is an almost capital offense, sneaking out at night against the parents' will. There would be massive consequences. But the mum is just like, I'm so disappointed in you. It's like,
And
if
the
you
mum
are a
is the one-
serious conservative mum, bring down the hammer.
But also, the mum is the one who said she didn't trust her in the last episode, and she's just confirmed that she cannot trust her daughter.
Exactly, and the punishment is you can get
You
to go
can
hang out with your friends.
friends.
It's like, fail
But
in
come
parenting.
through the front door this time.
Come off it. Come off it. Just the writers, they don't know how to parent.
Well, they're all, you know,
Mhm.
Well,
This is what my
Like
parent
Gen
would
Z.
have done. It's like, no.
Oh.
What would a conservative Muslim mum do?
get a switch out of the backyard and beat the hell out of you. That's my guess. You know that massive paddle thing they used to dust their carpets?
Yeah.
You're getting a smack with that.
Oh, yeah.
You're getting hung up like a carpet.
Oh, I wooden spoon.
You're lucky there's no stones out the back.
We're not saying this because of Islam. We're saying because of conservative parenting, okay?
Yeah. But why would it matter if we did?
Well, just because people say, are you trying to demonize Islam? No, I guess.
Muslims like humour.
Yeah, they do. We trust you guys. Our viewers. Yeah, so you get to go and it's like, oh, come on. And then the party. Okay, yeah. Like, she should have spat it in his face.
Can we-
Yeah. Should have kicked him in the nuts too. What?
So she even asked us alcohol, isn't it?
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
says
she
no.
asked, and he said, no, it's not.
What a friggin' scumbag. Like, all right, Bruno, he should have just been bang.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Like, dude.
Someone does that to you and
Like-
you know.
Yeah. And yes, that...
Or that could have been her, like, oh, she's just misused her powers.
So-
Oh,
What do you... Oh,
not
like...
bad.
She smacks him down.
Maybe they could have done so much more, and it would have been a strong moment for Bruno to actually show that he's got some balls and he's got a really good
Yeah.
protective, affection for his, like Kamala.
even if he got his
Or
ass
the
kicked.
alcohol could have brought some powers to the surface,
Yeah.
or she had a reaction to it.
It'd be
Could've
funny.
been-
Like seriously,
Anything.
essentially,
Anything.
Bruno, right? Kamala's autonomy was just violated, right? Essentially,
Yeah.
that is extreme.
Essentially, yes,
Yeah.
it
Her
was.
spiritual
She
autonomy.
was
Yeah.
given a liquid that she did not
Yes.
consent to.
Exactly, and like so. Traditional masculinity, like these would be the dictates of what a traditional masculine thing would be, and this is not. I get annoyed when this is not toxic. This is actually protecting woman's honor and virtue.
Yep.
And it's like if he really cared for Kamala, the true masculine instinct is to protect her honor, and
Knock that guy out.
he deserves to get
Instantly.
knocked out. And that guy needs to be like he will not learn unless he gets knocked out and serious consequences come to him.
Take
This
those-
is where men need to stand up to teach friggin' scumbags like this.
Knock him out and take his chains as a trophy.
Gosh.
Unrelated to this episode, but they have a lot of that in Stranger Things as well.
Really?
They have male characters who just don't stand up for his girlfriend. He doesn't stand up for his girlfriend.
Get some balls. Be men.
Mm.
But see, this is the thing. Hollywood thinks that's all toxic masculinity. They won't show men being strong, and they will think it is also belittling for a man to try and protect a woman's honor and virtue when that is your role. Kamala, apart from she doesn't have her powers enough to be able to she's so reserved and
Well, I can
insecure.
see how
She wouldn't punch her.
react to it, other than spitting it out and maybe being.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "What the hell, man?"
She's like.
She swallows once and then
There's vodka in this.
And I could see some potential humor. It's like, am I drunk? But the setup, we dislike. And then she's just like, she swallows. And then the guy, so the off screen from the things, the guy jumps off of the thing. This is the hot guy, and he has his top off, and he's all wet.
So I looked it up. Kamala the actor is 19. This dude is 23. Playing, how old are they supposed to be?
16.
He looks 20.
I commented this when I was watching with my wife. This guy looks 25, and
I thought so too.
And the actress, she actually could pass for 16 quite convincingly.
I actually believed she was 16.
It gave me creep vibes. This guy totally gave me creep vibes, crushing on what looks to be a 16-year-old.
He's got a more mature body.
He's driving a car and everything.
Yeah, he looks old.
It's creepy.
But that's America.
Well, I mean,
they always have
it's Hollywood. Hollywood, like, those type of relationships, there's far less objection to. So, look, again, this is the unreliable nation thing where you're seeing some of her imagination and stuff. No, he's like, I'm so hot, look at that.
Yeah, but he's got no arms. Muscles. He's got no lower abs.
It's a pretty boy.
He's got
girls,
what do you call it? Dingos.
There are girls who'd like that.
Oh, I know. Trust me. This is
pick them straight in your back.
This is teen girl porn for teen girls. I was going to say something
Disney
else.
has a long history of doing stuff like that. Look at the Jonas Brothers. Look at all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what I was like. And she's like, oh.
See, he looks so old in that shot.
I know. Holy crap.
Hello, I am Carl. I'm supervising this party.
Yes. Then the cops arrive. Everyone, run away.
But here's the thing. The cops weren't actually looking for underage drinking. They were looking for Kamala or witnesses. Or they were actually looking for that white girl with the followers.
Ah, yes. Good point. Good point. Yep. All right, and so then
there we go.
driving.
The quintessential.
Gosh, Bruno. I'm fighting for you.
Let's not talk about Bruno.
Oh,
I was waiting for it.
Also, right, look, let's be real here.
Yes, let's be real. Encanto is an overrated film with average music and everyone's friggin' singing. We don't talk about Bruno. I'm getting bloody sick of it. And I can't be this angry with my children because it'll be really mean. But I just want to say, shut up!
We don't talk about...
Oh, you freaking kidding me.
So women are attracted to competence and status, right? And it makes sense that she'd be more attracted to the guy who's like this, he's lithe, but he's driving a car, he's clearly older, clearly more self-confident, stuff like that.
No, but he was at school.
I know,
a year above them?
But he's clearly being portrayed as more of an alpha than Bruno.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So there you go. That makes exactly sense why the situation is playing out like it is.
Yeah. But poor Bruno. I just feel sorry for you.
Well, we don't really...
You're on notice, Claudia.
You are still on your probation period.
Yes. It's in my head now.
Go back to young folks.
Okay, so yeah, she's totally like, And again, this is like teen girl dream where a really hot guy giving all the attention, everything like that. The fact that it reveals he's in on some mystery about the power, I hope she should be crushed by that. It's like, you didn't really hurt me.
At the cafe.
I know, that was moving fast. It's like,
what a manipulative dick.
Bruno,
poor guy, look at him.
Yeah, I know, look, gosh. So, where do you think they're going with the mystery of the bracelet?
I think that's his cousin.
Like, he said, no, this is my mother, but the mother was actually her grandmother? Did you guys not connect them?
Uncle?
No, would it be?
We don't talk about it.
No, wait. Is it a grandmother or great-grandmother?
I can't remember. Is that her great-grandmother, that means he's her great-uncle, because he said, this is my mother.
Something like that, yeah. The woman in the car is the woman from the vision, and that's set up pretty clearly that seems to be the grandmother or great-grandmother that disappeared.
Her grandmother's mother.
During, is it apartheid?
They were escaping...
it's when, partition. It's when Pakistan separated from India.
She just disappeared.
And there's mysteries, and like I heard she killed a man.
That makes him her great uncle.
No wonder we thought he was old.
Yep, and then
that's weird.
He says goodbye to everyone, calls him the wrong name.
So Bruno owns a store.
How hard is it to remember Bruno?
That's Bruno's store. He literally runs that thing.
Does he? I thought he lived
does.
above it.
He lives above it and runs it.
I didn't see him running it.
Where are his
We
parents?
saw
know.
him in there with the costume doing it, and
Where are your parents?
Why are you running? And we saw him behind the counter, didn't we? I'm pretty sure he runs it.
This is
I
it.
don't
No, it's not
remember.
based in New York, so
I
it
don't
can't be one of the places Peter Parker visited. Yeah, the light changes,
Mm-hmm.
and this is very Bollywood to me. Like,
I do this in real life. When I'm in a good mood, I can't help it.
so, it's out
Dancing
to
is
me.
great.
It was out of place, but the confidence and commitment the actress has to the performance,
She pulls it off.
she pulls
I
it
didn't
off.
feel like it was out of place.
Like, I'm expressing what she's really feeling, but it threw me as like, okay, what is actually, it was unreliable narrative about it. Again, made me
Yeah, I
confused
get what you're
about
saying
when
about that.
she walked into high school. And then it switches to her parents just doing normal things. And so,
Light changes. Yeah.
yep, and then back to dancing again. And so it was like, anyway. So it's just the style, I suppose, but then they're texting already and she's imagining. Okay, so
Here we go.
the nose scene, again,
Nobody notices.
it has no lasting effect. This should have
She
been,
drops a book.
it would have been really fun and interesting to have more comical kind of problems with the powers as she's learning how to do it. Would have made the episode far more entertaining. Gives her the thing. It's disappeared.
Then we have the
Then
conversation.
the conversation,
on race.
yep.
Why is the girls' bathroom pink? Are you?
It's
Are
probably
you?
an American thing.
I know, but gender stereotypes, people.
Which in reality, I think a lot of gender stereotypes are positive and help people get a good view of who they are.
Mm.
Okay, it's important to
I
have
like pink.
a strong identity, and the fact that most girls like pink, I think, is great.
Mm.
My wife loves pink. My daughter loves pink. Awesome.
So join us on Timcast IRL.
No, I think it's a great look. I think it's great that girls love acting like girls, and I think it's great and should be positive and promoted that boys act like boys.
I love you, man. Every day I say something where I'm like being sarcastic, or like, well, let me give you a POC on why that's unironically true.
Mhm.
Like modern Mr. Rogers.
But also, we can be tomboys and they can.
No, but even tomboys have a feminine side to them.
Yeah.
In my experience, a lot. Okay, but modern
But
media
it's
when
secret.
they want to depict a tomboy, they just make these
Make them a
female
boy.
characters act
Make
like
them a boy,
boys,
yeah.
as like they do not understand women. Really,
The
or
tomboy.
men.
The tomboy is a mysterious and secret thing. The femininity is hidden.
It's there though.
It's something you must unlock.
You know, one of the things that, like, if you want a piece of media that depicts tomboy and feminism perfectly, that I loved, it was Mistborn, the character Vin.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
I got it for her.
It's so good.
No
best book.
spoilers.
So good. It's like a My Fair Lady story. She has to be hard growing up, and then when she gets to experience other aspects of life, I'm not spoiling, it's brilliant. It's so good.
It's very, 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 very good.
Very.
Yeah.
Mistborn's awesome.
But that's one of the few examples, because Brandon Sanderson, he's a talented writer, but in Hollywood, it's like a tomboy will make him act like a man and just...
Oh.
Oh, wrong button. So yeah, race conversation.
Thanks, sweetie, for telling me about your weird race stuff.
All right.
Yeah, it was out of the blue, wasn't
So,
it?
you guys liked him in the last episode.
No, what? This dude?
Yeah,
I
no.
thought it was funny.
Okay.
He creeps me out.
Good, because I don't know. Is it just me? Because didn't you say Claudia it rang very true as like the
Hilariously cringe.
cringe,
The millennial counselor.
Holy
Because
crap!
they're like hashtag relatable.
Oh my goodness! If I find out my school has a counselor like him, I'm getting my kids out of that
when
school.
I was in year 12, a lot of the younger teachers tried really, really hard to be relatable.
No, you're not meant to be relatable. You're meant to be an example. Be an adult. Show them how to grow up. Don't be this weird loser trying to be.
Just teach me how to pass the psychology exam, okay?
This guy totally gives me the. And look, this is the intention I get. It's like, hello, fellow students vibe stuff.
I mean, he's a counselor, so
Yeah.
He
you
just
have
got-
to teach them
Look at him,
maths.
though. Look at him. He's in his late 30s. He just got out of, like, his 5-year degree. He's got bloody earrings and he's wearing some hipster, sweater. And he's being like, I can quote The Devil Wears Prada and Star Wars in the same sentence. Look how cool I am. I hate this man automatically.
But it was...
He's the poster boy for a sex offender registry hotline.
Yes! I would not let my kids
Even
anywhere
that
near
sweater
him.
is so millennial.
Yeah. Ugh. Don't act like this guy. Be an adult, learn to grow up, and own it. And that's what you do.
It's better to be respected than liked.
Look, yeah, and but yeah, he's desperate. Again, it's intentional, so we get it. Okay,
Yeah.
but and then his this is what the scene where he's into Caltech or something.
Tell Marty McFly he can
And-
go to Caltech.
Yeah, that's right. He's got the Marty McFly kind of jacket. Then he says, "But that means moving." And look, I get that, you know,
Young Ramadan or something.
she's all getting loopy and falling over for this guy. That is fine. I think they could have integrated this, you know, but if this is the focus, which it really feels like,
Ditches her friends.
I know,
That's
gosh.
another thing that happens to the friend zone trope.
Well, good. Maybe he learns from it and actually goes to Caltech. I hope he does.
Go to Caltech, Bruno.
Yeah.
Suddenly she's drawing. This scene was, a little weird as well.
Is this a date?
Like, is the brother a complete moron?
Do you think
Yes.
he looks like Daniel Russo?
And what confused it, he says, like, I
Funny
am
kid.
Oh, yeah, of course.
cousin, and he mentions, like, a name. And is this, like, a common Pakistani name? And then it's likely, because she didn't tell him, say you're this person's, part of that family or something like that.
Oh.
He's just like, I am something.
If I
I've
was...
been with like Maori or Polynesian friends, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's my cousin," and I'll be like, "Who? There? What's the name? I don't know, but I know him. I know they're my cousin. They're always talking about that. That
They're
guy's
all
my
cuzzy
cousin.
bros.
That guy's my cousin. Like, you have so many cousins. Yeah,
Yeah. Brother is right there. He sees him.
They're making googly eyes.
And
at
to
each
me,
other.
if he saw them leaning that close and trying to hide, that's like, I thought he would have come in and thought they were kissing because they were...
Well, you
I
can't
was
see them.
expecting them to like close up on their faces and then just hear on the window like, "What are you doing?" But no.
He teleports us there. Like, and then he looks like an idiot because they just give this obviously like fake lying excuse, and then he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you are my cousin." It's like, come on.
Yeah, but he doesn't get it. But his fiance walks off like,
Oh yeah, because the dad has been shown to be an idiot. The brother's been shown to be an idiot. Bruno's been shown to be an idiot.
Well, simp.
Simp and idiot.
It's a type of
Smarty
idiot.
pants.
And this guy.
I often show myself to be an idiot. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, okay. We'll remember that about you then. No, I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying. It's just like...
Oh, yeah, they're denigrating all the male characters, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a trope.
Mhm. And the wife, she's smart, because...
She has intuition.
And what was this scene? I forget what they...
Oh, they're talking about the partition.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then we get the story about relating to the origins of the bracelet.
Mm.
Kind of. All we know
It's
is
the introduction to the origins of the bracelet
Yeah, it
in
is.
a
They're
roundabout
building.
way.
Yeah, they're building it up. And then she calls her. Yeah, she calls her. It is her great grandmother because she calls her grandmother, asking
I
about.
said it was a great grandmother.
I couldn't remember, but yeah. So yeah. Yeah. Again, no one sees that, or is this only she's seeing it?
Oh, she is, yeah.
She-
But then
only
she
she is.
passed
But-
out.
Because they disappeared.
Like, hang on, is this knocking
then-
things? Okay, yeah, it's the vision. Oh, she asked the mum about the great grandmother or her grandmother, and she's like, "No, we don't talk about her.
We don't talk about who, no?
Who know? Shut up."
It's been playing in my head the whole time.
Keep it there if you want to keep the job.
You can replace it with Frozen. It's just as mind catching.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shad, let it go. Can't hold it
Can't
back.
hold it back anymore.
I'm more partial to Moana.
Turn away.
I actually found that an uplifting song.
What?
Let
There
It
was
Go.
the Let It Go part.
Really?
I love
Yeah.
Let It Go.
It had an element of self-sacrifice in it, where she was trying to restrict her powers to not harm others and everything
Conceal,
like
don't
that.
feel.
And it was
Don't
the
let them
first time
show.
that
Put
she
on a
actually
show.
got to be free, and she didn't have to worry about everyone else because she left everyone. And so
Jordan
there was
Peterson hates that
The
movie.
coldness
I know he
of
does.
it
I
anyway.
get what he's saying. I kind of agree with a lot of it, but that one moment there, I do find has an element of self-sacrifice and triumph and freedom in it. And so,
But then she found the balance between letting it go and
And
Duty.
And letting it. Wait, what? Anyway,
anyway,
Moana
this
is
isn't
a
Frozen
great-
review.
Moana is a great movie.
What?
Moana.
I've seen the first 20 minutes of it and the last 20 minutes of it, never the in-between.
Moana's actually really good.
I like the first 20 minutes and the
Mm.
last 20 minutes.
I liked it, but I wouldn't watch it again.
I watch so much kids' entertainment. So
So
when you're a
do I.
father and you have young kids, you end up watching so
Or
much.
immature adults.
And some is genuinely
Mature
good.
adults can like it as well.
I haven't mentioned this. The remade DuckTales is brilliant.
You mentioned it to
David
me.
Tennant.
Highly recommend.
Awesome.
Really, really good.
Anyway, what were we watching again?
Do you think this is only open to people of their mosque or Muslims? Or is
Clearly not,
anyone
because there's
allowed
a
in?
white kid that snuck in.
And
Thank
there's
us.
another
If I was a missionary, I was just saying, I saw that, I'd be like, time to proselyte.
What's that mean?
I liked the bit
Proselyte,
they have
invite
where
people to
they
learn
have,
about the gospel.
They mention the converts.
Oh, really?
I think you're asking for trouble going into a whole Muslim thing. Like, hey, would you like to hear about Christianity?
Nowhere near as dangerous as going into like a Hillsong chapel dressed as a missionary.
That sounds about right. Well, that's because you guys are playing the same sport competing, whereas with Islam, it's like playing different sport.
It's like that. Like, I'm not kidding. They'll look at us like two devils have just walked in.
Like we're
What
same
did
sport,
she call
different
you?
teams.
Satan's
Sons of Satan.
sons of Satan.
She thinks that Satan had a body.
It's a euphemism.
I understand that,
Yeah,
but I
know.
still don't like it
Yes, me neither.
Sons of a motherless goat.
because it's Catholic doctrine, isn't it, that Satan had a son too?
No, what?
I thought it was.
No.
It's not Catholic. Who's Mammon then?
Lilith, I think, is another. Like anyway, that's not. I know it's not definitely not related to our doctrine, and
Yeah.
I don't know enough about other Christian denominations. Might be apocryphal.
Ours is the coolest.
Yeah, by far. Okay, so yes, and then the weird conversation with the dad.
No, not
She-
weird.
Look at her
She's
face.
evil.
She's she's a super villain.
Look at her. Look at. She's a Muslim. She has the headscarf and
She could have done
everything.
it in a really nice way, saying,
Mm.
well, you see, I just want to do this and do that. I understand if you want to vote for your friend, but if you could tell other people, maybe if you could hand that off to someone else, she could have done it in a nice way.
She tries to guilt him in the most
Yeah.
vile ways.
It's like- She looks like if Lady Gaga had
like-
like a Muslim streak or something.
oh my goodness.
She
Awful.
does kind of.
Look at that. It's like, it really, I get the vibe from the dad is like, it's time for a stoning.
Yeah.
No, he just.
Alright, so. Alright, I didn't mind his introduction where he clearly is manipulating her and she's an airheaded teen who's vain and likes and it's like, I've seen your content. She's like, yeah, you have. Then it flips on its head and then it's
A
like,
federal agent would work slower, but the exact same tactics with the
Probably.
exact same malicious intent.
This scene was just.
Mm.
It was weird.
to me,
Very camp.
she's almost the most consistent character in the show at the moment.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, don't talk to feds, don't talk to cops.
Alright, so. What I don't get from this conversation is it they're implying that it's from this that then leads them to be able to find because them appearing out of nowhere where she's just saving him, like what the heck, where were they?
Well-
Just literally a street over.
Well, the Department of Damage Control has a presence in New York City, and also
this isn't New York.
yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's New York City.
No, it's not. Is it?
It's New York State. It might be Brooklyn or whatever. I'm not familiar with the burbs, but it's New York State.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have like in remember Spider-Man: Homecoming?
Yeah, but
That was in Queens. They showed up immediately the day after, a few hours after a bank robbing.
it felt like they just teleported there. And
Yeah.
and how did they get the connection between this girl and
Did
Kamala?
they get to the connection?
She
or
was
did
wearing
they
a
just
mask.
or did they just hear the news of
Well,
a
no.
girl saving a kid?
So what happened was
They
that-
live streamed her saving the kid. That could have
I
tipped
can
someone
explain
off.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Okay, so
Yes.
you know how there was the Avengers Con?
Yep.
They watched the video recording of that,
Yep.
which was in the exact same city where this took place, probably a
Yep.
couple blocks away. They took a bus.
Yep.
And then the thing happened. They found her. Then they're having the event where the Muslim event
Mhm.
that she goes to. See the boy hanging. This is all being live streamed and tweeted about and all that sort of crap. And then she shows up, and it takes her a good how many minutes to get to the boy from being on the roof? Like 2 or 3
2
minutes.
minutes.
So
probably.
if they're in the same, like
That would have
50
to
block
be,
radius.
No, that'd have to be in the same block to get there that quick.
okay, but for her to get up and
To-
down,
To me, it was like they just
I don't know.
appeared.
And
I
why
don't.
wasn't someone
and
climbing up the tower?
To me,
get the kid?
there's
Spider-Man
no.
wasn't there.
I don't see any connection that would have clued them off to be near the mosque, near Kamala, anything like that. But it feels like that they knew who she was when they arrived. But I don't know.
TV logic.
So anyway, yeah, this conversation. They're all talking. They talk about the great grandmother. They heard all these stories. Heard she killed a man, and the kid falls. This is so that's at the mosque. They're all worried, And okay, for the amount of time that he's hanging there, and for Kamala to get changed, and for her to take her there, someone could have easily just run up the stairs and grabbed him. It's like everyone is just standing around watching, not doing a thing when a kid's life is in danger. I know it's because they need Kamala to step, but still, someone else should have been on their way, and they should have had something where they try and get the door, but the kid locked the door and they can't open it. And
that's why I thought they put her in a costume that looks like the original Ms. Marvel costume, was that she didn't have time to change, so she, I don't know, put a hood on or something and covered her face or something and then saved him.
And it showed Pakistani rugs and blankets hung up. She should have just grabbed one of them, wrapped it over herself. Would have had a cool...
Well, she was wearing a scarf. She could have just...
Well, they might have recognised her wearing the same coloured dress and same scarf. But I'm saying if she grabbed a blanket and was like, yeah, now I'm a different looking colour.
Yeah, true.
I kind of, like, again, I'm annoyed because this had potential. Like, everyone was there. They start, live streaming everything. And this would be the moment where suddenly she gets a more public profile, being a superhero and things. Her use of powers...
to turn her helmet on.
Yeah, her use of powers is open for everyone to see and everything. And so this would put her on the public radar.
She went back to the conference room to get the gloves.
And everyone, hey, saved. And then they could have used this for so much more. It had so much potential, and they failed on a lot.
That's the thumbnail.
You are right. You are absolutely right.
Take a screenshot right now.
This part, again, it had so much potential. It shows her failing. This is refreshing. They rarely ever show a lead female character failing. She tries to reach and she misses him. And then her last ditcher thing is to try and get a platform. He falls on another platform and he has to fall from platform she makes and crashes on a car roof.
That would have been terrifying.
It would, exactly. It just should traumatize her. Exactly. And it feels like they're just going to ignore it all. And it freaking annoys me.
She looks more like Ezra Miller's The Flash than Miss Marvel. But except Ezra Miller is slightly weaker than her.
I would agree. The crap happening around...
I've heard there's crap, but I haven't seen what it was. What's going on?
Oh my goodness. We might need to, because that is...
DC in general.
Their
actors are...
Like full-on... Their accusations of full-on grooming from like a 12-year-old girl who's now... associate herself from her parents and disappeared with this guy. They've both gone off the radar. The police are looking for him. Yeah, it's full on nuts. Holy crap.
Well, the police aren't going to catch him. He's the fastest man alive.
And this is separate to the thing of him, actually physically assaulting people and losing his nutter. The guy is crazy.
No wonder he calls himself the fastest man alive. Can't even wait till she's 18.
Goodness. And again, last headline I saw is that he's in hiding. I don't know any updates, but wow.
What?
Batman's on the case.
So yeah, she runs away, and I was open to yes, show me the trauma, show me things, and then suddenly drone appears out of nowhere.
Yeah, you want to talk about trauma? A drone chasing a Muslim. How much more terrifying can it get?
It's a bit far.
What? They're the ones that made
How
the situation
could you
happen.
say something so controversial yet so true?
Thank you, Shad. Appreciate the meme. But why would Disney do this? Disney, that's the situation you presented. A drone is
chasing a Muslim.
Yeah, and there's a... Oh, come on.
All I'm waiting is for Barack Obama to appear and go, Mister. I was aiming for the wedding.
Oh, I was aiming for that entire event. We had them all, people.
He's having a heart attack.
People. We missed. This time, you aim small, you miss small. Aim for the children next time. That's how we got him in Iraq.
Hey, he has the experience.
Yep. He's a war criminal.
And no one knows about it.
No one knows about it. There's a lot of things they don't know about him.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Well, not officially, but...
He's dropped more bombs than, than America dropped in World War II.
No freaking way.
Seriously. And he got a Nobel Peace Prize.
The amount of drone strikes that he okayed and hit innocent civilians is shocking.
It's funny, right? Mr. President, this could be a terrorist compound or a wedding. Do it. Just in case. We don't negotiate with wedding goers. I mean terrorists.
Oh my goodness.
That's something that needs to be known by people. I'll tell you what.
It got so bad that there are children's cartoons of a cartoon animated drone teaching kids what to do in case of a drone strike.
No one knows about it.
I'm not kidding!
You want to talk about Western imperialism? Talk about that crap. That's not relevant. Bloody hell.
They won't bring that up
No.
because Obama's a golden boy. It's like British Empire bad. Anyway.
We didn't have drones back
So,
then.
all right. She runs away. She jumps over their car. There's a blockade. The car pulls up. She jumps over. And the fact that this pulls up so perfectly timed, I literally
And they
was
didn't
like...
see it.
They've been stalking her.
This was before I realized they must have been stalking her. But when it was just the boyfriend, I was just like, what? But then it was like the great-grandmother's in the back
Fancy a
seat.
Carter before.
So
or was that the same car?
They must have been following her. That can justify it.
Yeah.
But, well... It's very well timed.
Hey, this is my mother, your great grandmother.
Yeah.
We were holding hands.
There she is. There's the great grandmother. I was like, we need to talk. So, I don't know. Yeah, I'm a bit interested in what they're going to do with the background at the moment. It feels like whenever there is potential to make something exceptional in this show, they lose the plot. And so I don't have hope. We'll see. We'll see.
Look, I'm not hating it. I'm kind of enjoying it. On and off. I
Yeah.
Trust
expect-
me,
Yeah.
with all the disappointment I have with this show and my own personal annoyance, which I do say a lot of it is subjective, but still, this is not even close to a traditional superhero show. I don't fault any traditional superhero fan hating this show because it's not what they, would want. I don't fault any young girl liking the show either, okay? They could have better taste.
I'm still kind of awestruck about your Obama impression.
Really?
That was gold.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that.
I forgot what I was going to say. What was it?
Girls might like it. Is that their intention?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I consider it bad and boring at the moment. That's where it falls into. It is nowhere near as bad as Obi-Wan. I'm happy to say that, okay?
I consider it acceptable.
So what, 5?
I'd give it a 5.5.
Yeah.
Average, yeah. Average, not necessarily bad. Average.
And look, try a rating of 5, considering the dumpster fire we've been seeing lately, except Top Gun Maverick, which is great.
Yeah.
5 is actually a huge rating. I would give it maybe a 3, which is still good in comparison to like Obi-Wan.
Which gets a -5.
It's on a 0 at the most.
If I don't like him, I
Zero.
just don't give him a number.
Yeah, 0 or 1. So there we go. This is Miss Marvel, episode 2. Let us know what you think in the comments below. We had a couple of questions we were asking our audience, so fill us in. And we will see you on the next watch. So until then, stay watchful.